what I think, when you become good friends to your children, you'll have that room to be able to study them well. You know their weaknesses, you know strongholds, you know what they love and what they hate. You'll even be able to study their timetables. You know, at this time, if my children is not at the library, my children is somewhere. So let us advocate and be good friends to our children. That will create room for dialogue, conversations, will be help them to guide them easily without using a lot of force. Because again, if you try to be enemies, or you try to act like you want your child must do this, either he likes it or not, then by the end of the day, what will happen? That child will be doing the wrongs without you knowing. But when you become good friends, even if he's trying to do something wrong, you'll have a room to feature in, because you in between you'll have a room to know. So please, what I'll ask my friends here, Jesse, I'm not saying that 21st centuries, the 21st century parents, they are trying now to run away from being responsible parents. No, we are very responsible parents, but now we are trying to apply a lot of diplomacy. We want to be good friends with our kids, and we want also to be there in their journey. We understand them very well. We can be able to coach them easily, to nurture them, and even to show them a lot of love, so that they can also do the same back to us with a lot of respect.
There's a point that was raised. I don't know if someone got it or we got it, where when we're talking about 21st century, look at the products that we are having, the kind of children that are being raised in this generation. We, in this particular century, we have more drug addicts, like we have been told here, than the previous centuries, for example. So,
but unajua Robert, the previous century mlifanya mkijificha.
No, but the point is that it reflects on the parenthood of today, that these things, although he's saying that we should be employing diplomacy with the children, I think that is where the disconnect has happened. There has been a disconnect somewhere between the discipline and the method that we are using today. We are ending up with friends that are deviants, friends that are so much into all those things that you're talking about. And the parents themselves, they are saying, oh, this is what we were not given. Our parents were very harsh on us. Our children, we should be very understanding to them. We should treat them like this. But what is the product that we are having? We are having cases like currently we have seen the things that are happening in schools. We have seen children, someone is being chased away from their school fees balance, and they're not being told to pay it. They're being told, go and get it. What do? We have seen a case the other day. They are beating up the headmaster. He has been hit with an object. What is that? It's parenthood.
Also, to add something, Patrick, when you say you want your children to be your friends, I guess you lose all the sense of parenting. Because as a father, you have your own responsibility. You have the things that you are providing for them. You guide them. You show them, you know what, my son, my daughter, walk this way. The moment you make them your friend, to an extent of being your best friend, and they say, Daddy, I'm going to Moran, I'm going to somewhere, you know, you should not be respected as a parent. You should be punished. You should be beaten up.
Yeah, let me ask my friend Jesse a point here. I think we lost a point somewhere. We didn't define who is a father. My friend here, Robert, just laid something, that a father is a provider. I think a father is also a friend. A father should also be a friend.
I think so too.
And a sense of love, joy, and peace, and even security. You cannot be able, for instance, let me say, me and Jesse are best friends. Jesse, me and you, we are very good friends. When we talk of a friendship aspect, the first thing, you should always be there to guide me when you see me losing a step. And you cannot guide me when you are my enemy. So I think, let's not see parenthood as a military camp. Fatherhood as a military camp, whereby discipline must be forced to be infused. Ati sasa tunatolewa uraia, tunaweka uaskari ama ujeshi. No. Let's see fatherhood like something that should come out very sweet, something that should be very joyful, something that even when your kid sees you, he says, this is my best friend. And let's not talk about the negativity of friendship. Let's focus on the positivity of friendship. Thank you.
I like to quote the Bible, and maybe Pastor Ambogo will say, Amos 3:3. Two people cannot walk unless they're in agreement.
That's why the friendship is there.
Now, the fact that you live with them, the fact that you have one with your mother and then have the second, they're already your friends. And the fact that you can tell them, go and do this, they tell you that. They also send us. Like my daughter tells me, I want crepes, I want this. They send me, they are my friends. But the friendship cannot ruin their life because I want to be a better friend.
Let me just read a Bible for us, for probably just to define what probably the Bible says concerning fathers, and probably we can expound on that. And I invite my panelists here to expound on what it says. And of course, this comes from the greatest father of all, our God. Our God the Father is the greatest dad, And so when he gives advice, it's good to look at the advice that he gives. And so I'm reading from the book of Ephesians, chapter number 6, verse number 4. It says, and fathers. It has already spoken about other things, about children obeying their parents and all that. And then now, this point number 4, it says, and fathers. So, I'm talking to you fathers. I'm talking to all fathers from the greatest father. Do not provoke your children to anger. That's number 1. Then it continues to say, but nurture them in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Nurture them, that's a key word. So, it's possible, like probably some of us are trying to say, for us to go to an extreme of provoking our children. And even our greatest dad is telling us, do not provoke them, but nurture them. But in the nurture that we are being told to in the discipline and instruction of the Lord.
You're right. You're right.
Mwalimu, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think when a father is a friend to their children, is it difficult for them to discipline?
It is not. As Wabogo is putting it, the role model of a father is our heavenly Father. And all that he does to us is out of love. See John 3:16, that is known even in hell, for God so loved the world that he gave his son because of the love of the Father. When you love your children, they will not only obey you, and it is good to get the difference between obeying and honoring. And I think where Pastor Wabogo is reading, it is talking about honor your father and your mother, not obeying. Because obeying is at the stage where you need to get a cane to force someone to do what you want them to do. But honoring means that they understand the reason why they are doing it, and they understand it to whom they are doing. Honoring. So when you are friends, one would not even get into drugs. One would not even misbehave because they honor their father, because they are friends. He doesn't even imagine how they will feel each other after he has done those things, those stuff. So the friendship and discipline. Friendship and discipline. And it's talking about disciplining and instructing, which is training. And training is showing someone what to do. Actions speak louder than words. When you are present at home, they are seeing what you are doing. They are hearing what you are saying. When you sit down, they know what that means. When you stand up, they know what that is saying. You are now instructing. You are and disciplining out of love. Even when I'm caning you because you have disobeyed, it is out of love, because I don't want you to die. I don't want you to destroy yourself. So out of love. From A to Z is all out of love. Love, 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 love. Even when I'm disciplining, it's out of love and friendship.
Yeah, so Julie, let me just put some weight on what Mr. Washira has said. Let's reflect back. When Corona hit us, and our kids were forced to come home because of their own safety, a lot of issues happened
There were crises actually.
and at our homes, and everybody was like, so parents had left everything to the teachers. And after doing a deep research as to why a lot of things happened, it's because of one thing. I came to realize you could find that our kids, our younger brothers and sisters, had already gone into drugs, had already gone into a lot of things, but behind their parents' back. After trying to inquire as to why, most of them, I think almost all of them had one thing. I was unable to talk maybe to my parents, mostly my dad, because I fear him so much. And I was devastated because I thought, what if the parents and their children, mostly the father figure, had that bond? You know, apart from provision, there's love. Apart just being a provider, because I don't see if it makes any sense if I'm providing for my family and I don't show them, I don't have time for them. Yani ninakaa kama simba. So
Actually, to add on that,
Yeah.
most parents wanalipa fees na wajui watoto wanafanya nini shule.
that's what happened. So I came to realize the gap was there because those children fear their father so much, not their parents. And that's why you'll find that kids will go out there, they get into drugs, pole pole, they become addicts, and after becoming addicts, they will fear, even fall into depression of how will I be able kuacha hizi madawa. Na ule mtu mwenye nitaenda kuongelesha ni simba. Unajua one thing, once you trigger a lion ama you poke a lion, the next thing it will do, itakumaliza. So a lot of things that are happening in this 21st century parenting, it is because we've not created that friendship bond, or that friendship ring with our kids, of which it's a very important thing to do.
I want to differ completely with what Wahome is saying. I think he's out of context. I think he understands nothing of what he's saying. My question is, comparing when we were being raised up and the kids that are here today, when do we have in discipline cases much compared to them that are being raised by friends and comparing us who are raised by the lions he's talking about? Let's take a look, Julie. From which generation are we having the vulgar music? From which generation are we having the most drug addicts?
I think-
From which generation are we? No, let's be honest.
Let me just say this.
Yeah.
Tulijificha sisi, hatukufanya hiyo.
No,
Lakini
we-
immediately tulifika
Julie,
campus
Julie,
ama
please.
tuliondoka kwa
We
mikono ya
didn't
wazazi.
do
We're doing
it.
it
We
freelance.
didn't go and be in silly love relationships where you end up being dead. Why our big sisters were not being killed anyhowly in high school and in high institutions? Our children, our younger brothers are not chewing miraa. Right now, go to the stage. You will see children as young as 15 years. They are chewing mogokatha. Why? Because their friends are their parents. And the friendship is ruining their lives.
Let me ask you a question, Jesse.
Yes.
And let me say probably something. During our time, there was a sense of communal responsibility in terms of disciplining. You know, everybody was involved in bringing up that child. Anyone in the neighborhood knew that they were a parent to that child, whether they are actual parents or not. And children knew that. But today we are finding this, what we are calling 21st century parenthood, we have become too protective. Some people would not want to hear anyone touching their child. And so this, the communal responsibility is no longer there. And so the child is left to what the parent will do. And the parents are the ones that we are hearing now. They want to become friends. And if I meet your child doing something along the way, if I meet your child smoking something they should not be smoking, who am I to touch them? Because the next thing I will hear is that you are suing me, or you are doing, you will tell me, you will rebut me, you will tell me something bad, and I'll feel that I should not have touched your child. So I think the 21st century parenthood should not be celebrated.
Let me ask Jessie a question on that. Jessie, you're raising a girl, and she's 6 years. She'll be 12, and things will change in her body. You're not her friend. Who will she talk to?
Okay, one, my mom is helping me raise her. That is one. The second thing, I'm not planning to be alone the rest of my life simply because I got kids with other people. I'll find someone I can live with. But then, I'm not saying that you be so fierce that your children cannot talk to you about anything. Right now, my daughter talks to me about anything she has in mind, anything she's going through. If you can her, she'll come and tell me. But then she knows the repercussions. She knows what will happen. She knows if she messes around, she will find the lion she's looking for. You don't have to be a mad person or a mad parent to be a good parent. My daughter, we talk, we do stuff, we go swimming, we do stuff together, but she always have to remember that Jesse is the father and she's the child. She is to listen and I am to say. I am to guide her, she's not to guide me. It's not that you go with a kid to a supermarket and then she takes everything she wants and you don't have money and she'll start crying and rolling in the supermarket because you don't have money. Just say I don't have it and you won't have it.
Those are the examples we are seeing actually.
Yeah, okay.
We find those examples in our supermarkets. And I think Wahome is one of those ones that does that.
Yeah.
He's about to tell us.
Let me say something. I think my son is a good example. Because of the bond that we have created, we walk with him around town most of the weekends when I'm not at work. And because we are good friends, we do talk. And he's very young, by the way, he's 2.6 years. But because of being good friends, and maybe he sees something that you want, be it a toy, be it maybe something that maybe you want to eat, and because he knows when my dad has a nice for it, he'll provide for me because he's my good friend. But if he asks for something and I tell him, hey dad, I don't have money to buy that one at the moment, but maybe tomorrow or the other day I'll bring it home for you, he will understand.
No, let me give you an example. Let me give Wahome an example. He's talking too much. Let me give you an example.
I'm not talking too much.
Wait,
Okay,
Julie,
okay.
we come from a generation. I'll give you an example. We used to go to hotels with my father. He's an amazing dad. He's a guy I love so much. But I could not order anything. He used to order for me because he knows his pockets.
How can you do a variance?
I knew. I'm not dumb. I knew. So my dad used
only knew chips.
Wait,
pizza.
my dad was saying, kuna chipo, kuna nini, and my dad could say, mpe ugali na matumbo. Today, if I go with my daughter, she'll be like, Mimi, daddy, nataka kuku, nataka. What if I don't have that money? She'll start crying.
Let them understand.
How do you make a kid understand?
Make your kid your best friend.
Be a father, let them be kids.
So, Jesse, we must appreciate evolution.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, we must appreciate evolution.
Solve this for
Yeah,
us.
please, in all respect, when you get into a hotel with your child, you've actually taken the girl or the boy to a hotel for entertainment. Okay, fine, but still, let them take what they would want to take. If you don't have that money, then you explain to them that daughter, this is what you can take for now. But telling them that this is what you shall take, you cannot take this. I don't think it's fair.
It is fair. It is
very fair.
You're supposed to, like Jesse is saying, you're supposed to tell them what they should take. And probably sometimes you have gone there with friends or even you have gone with visitors
Let me ask
that you
you
had
this,
brought
Robert.
there. And so it's not very easy to deny them what they are asking at that point. But you will be boiling inside that they ask for something that is very expensive.
let me
Can you
just ask
imagine
As if the friends that we are being told to
No,
a whole chicken and you have nothing and you have your friends. Bwana, utalipa na nini bwana?
Let me ask this. being taken to a hotel is a luxury. Si kila siku.
It's not. It's not.
No, it's not every day.
Maybe we are from the farm with her. We pass through town and we are hungry. I have 200 bob. I should take chips and she should take chips. Now she goes ahead and says, Dreda Goko. And I only have 200 shillings. And maybe I'm with Wahome, who is my friend. And if I tell her, no, you don't take
Nakopa
chicken.
ni once in a while. But
No, Wahome will go and say, Jesse is not a good father. He's not giving his children chicken and blah. No, let them take what I want. What I can afford is what they take.
Nakopa hiyo siku kwa sababu si kila
No,
siku.
why should I be in debt to please them?
That tells you that there's no communication. No, there's telling someone and there's communication, eh? Because if there is communication, it simply means that we can even agree as we get into a hotel that, you know what, son, this is the much that I want to spend. So when you look at that menu, you'll let me know what you want to pick. Of course, they don't order. You agree here. This is what I want to take. Again, you can also advise the child that this is junk food. This will not help you. This is what will help you.
Mwalimu, let me ask you.
Yes, please.
What is the time frame that we should start having deep conversations with our children? Because I think that is what Jesse doesn't have. What is the time frame we should start talking to our children? Like, I have this money and they will understand. Is there a time frame, or you just make them understand?
Can I answer that with a Bible verse?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, there's a Bible verse that Mwalimu had mentioned earlier. I want to draw attention back to it. It's Proverbs 19:18. But there's a version that says it so well. The one that he had quoted, Mwalimu, it says, discipline your child, for there is hope, but do not set your heart on causing his death. Let me read another version that probably simplifies, another English version. It says, when your son is young, do not help him to his death. Punish him until he obeys the rules. Thank you. Do you need anyone to add anything?
Yeah, let me say. And I
He wants to refute what the Bible is saying.
No, I can't do that. But I'm saying
unless
this,
you are supporting what the Bible has said.
Yeah, I want to support.
Yes.
And still, say punishment does not only mean beating up the child. Punishment can be done in very many ways. In school, we could be beaten by the teachers. We could be sent out of the class. We could be told to repeat what you've done. You could have been told, if you are found maybe in the dormitory sleeping during class time, you could be told, sleep for the next 2 days. So that is also punishment. And that's why I said, in the 21st century parenting, we are not only focusing much on the negativity towards parenting. We are trying to focus much on the positivity towards parenting. So when Jesse says that I should speak, he should be the commander. Even the commanders in military, when they are drawing battle lines, he will call the juniors for a conversation, a dialogue, what Mr. Wachira said. So we should also give room for our children's voices to be heard. For instance, let them make choices for themselves. And when Jesse, if you are from the farm and you are going to town with your child, don't take him or her to Sport Manams. Pereka kareti. Yeah, unamwambia my budget is between these. You have seen we are from the farm, but if it's on a Sunday afternoon after church, you can take them to Sport Manams. Let your wife and children or your child enjoy, because that happens only once per week or once per month.
I think there's something that is going to flip through our fingers on the reason why the present generations are taking drugs more than the other generations, and the reason why the children are more disobedient this time than the other times. I think we need to appreciate that most of the young parents are getting into fatherhood and into motherhood before they have been prepared, before they even understand what fatherhood is all about. In fact, some of them are becoming fathers before they have become husbands. And I think that is where people like Jesse are. They became fathers before they became husbands, so that the husband period would prepare him for fatherhood. And I also want to say that the church has actually failed. People like Waboko and the church have failed. They are not preparing our young people for marriage. Number two, when they get into marriage, they are not followed up. You see, when you have planted a tree, you don't just plant a tree in the forest and disappear. Grass will coach on the plant and it will die off. And that is why we have so many marriages breaking today. Because one, they were not prepared. Number two, the church did not follow up. And even before then, they did not get a model. The father was very far away, or the father was there but kept quiet. You know, our very first father kept quiet when Eve was being, with the devil.